here's a tool for someone who wants to improve their emotional mastery. And by that specifically, I mean make a different choice instead of being emotionally reactive, to choose something resourceful instead, to choose actually, to begin to choose what you really want to do rather than operating from like emotion and habit. So for me, this has been really supportive. So first, awareness. In the moment that you get triggered next, my invitation to you is to literally just get aware of the fact that I feel like a volcano is about to erupt inside of my body. Like that's what it feels like for me. Lava is just building, right? And the cool thing is, as I've started to get aware, because awareness is the first place from which I know for me, then I can make meaningful change. And I know for a lot of people, most people seem to agree on that. Once I get aware, then from there, the next step 2 is, okay, like this is the invitation to you. Visualize train tracks in front of you. But here's the thing. Visualize, like, you know, the train tracks that can like switch, like trains can like switch which tracks they want to go down and be like, oh, I imagine it's like this. You push a button and then the conductor pushes a button and it's like, oh, okay, like we want to go to the right instead, and the tracks switch. That's what I want you to imagine. I want you to visualize, okay, I've got path A, which I've taken pretty much every single time up until this point. I know what result that gets me. It's emotionally reactive. It hurts people. It is not nice. I don't feel good doing it. I have regrets after I take that path, typically. And oh, by the way, bit of just like compassion, just sending you deep love and compassion. Like, I mean, most of us weren't taught how to be in control of our emotions when we were young, and how to be like really powerfully emotionally regulated. And oh, by the way, therefore, most likely you, like me, got a lot of reps. I'm an athlete, and I think that athlete metaphors are so accessible to a lot of people. So like most of us have gotten a lot of reps, like you would in the gym, working on your bicep. We've gotten a lot of reps going down path A. And so we're like really good at it, and it's become this habit. And the body, like one of the reasons why it's just so easy is like the body tends to do what is most, that requires the least amount of energy. And we just get into these habits. Also, this is a bit random, but like that's why people become hunchbacked, because they literally do that with their social media and staring at their phones and their computers. And then we're training the body. My chiropractor told me, because I asked him, he was like, the body does what you train it to do. So, right, if you like, we start doing the opposite and like doing stretches each day to make the opposite happen, boom, you're retraining your body in the way you want it to be. So back to the story, back to the train tracks, step 2. So you're going to visualize, at a minimum, you visualize the fact that in this moment, there's track A. I know that path. I know what happens when I go down that path. More emotionally reactive, habit. And then there's path B. And for you to just get bring in the awareness, invite yourself into the awareness of the fact that I do have a choice here. That is so significant. Even if you still get pulled into, or just consciously choose to be like, I'm going to be emotionally reactive, and you choose path A, okay, like no worries. You're learning. Like this is worth celebrating. Eventually, I guarantee you, when you do this enough and you visualize these train tracks in your mind, you're gonna get to the point where your ability to choose the other path, to remain grounded, to breathe into what you're feeling, to like mirror, acknowledge, and seek to understand the person who is speaking to you in a way that, you know, is making you feel like there's a volcano inside of you. Like, you are going to get to a point where step 3 eventually is like gradually beginning to choose the other path. And I can almost guarantee you, you're not going to be perfect at it. What I have found to be really helpful for me is I don't expect perfection. I seek to resolve any pain that I've caused, apologize whenever I don't get it right, but gradually over time, you know, be the woman that I want to be proud of being in my relationships, with my ability to, you know, like, ideally for me, in a masterful world-class way, remain emotionally grounded and resourced and compassionate, while also allowing for moments of not getting it right, which happened recently. And, you know, for whatever reason, I don't want to go like too deep into this, but like for me, I know for some people, if they don't get enough sleep, it can cause them to, you know, be at a higher risk for not being able to hold that and maintain as consistently as they'd like that emotional control and choosing path B. For me, I'm realizing I've been cutting out wheat for like literally the past 15, 20 years. Wheat has been an issue with my body. And for chunks of time, I had cut it out and I felt amazing. And for a chunk of time more recently, I was like, whatever, you know, I'm just gonna have it here or there when I want it. And before the holidays, I cut it out for about a month, and at Christmas that my family cooked up at my aunt's, there was a lot of wheat and all that stuff, and it tasted really good at the time. But for me personally, I've noticed a theme, which is when I eat wheat and I haven't had it for a while and my body becomes more sensitive to it, something happens inside me. And again, this is just me being really tuned into my body. I'm not saying this is like this for everyone, but that kind of weakens me. It makes me much more vulnerable to like choosing unintentionally path A, and that happened recently. And so yeah, we're all human, we're all perfectly imperfect. And personally, this sort of framework of like step 1, step 2, step 3, and then gradually, like 1% by 1% by 1%, setting the intention to become like really excellent and world class at emotional control and emotional regulation, and then being able to model that to, like, for example, like, and teach this to the kids who I work with. Wow, what a gift. And it's so incredible to be teaching teenagers this stuff about how they are in control of their personal powers, their thinking, their feelings, how they speak to themselves internally and others, and their behaviors, their actions. These are the things that us as humans always have within our control. And working primarily with student athletes right now, like when they are taught this, it really changes and enhances their lives, because this isn't taught in school. And it's like, wow, giving kids the framework, the language to consider, even just purely consider that they're in control of all 4 of these things, that can really change their life. Then they immediately have access to new ways of thinking, new ways of problem solving, new ways of reacting, new ways of engaging. So in teaching them all these things, one piece of this is, of course, that emotional control and this sort of 3-step process. And I just love this stuff so much. So I hope this is helpful for you. Let me know if it was, or if maybe you have other tools that really support you in your emotional control and in helping you to like have, maintain, and build the friendships, the relationships that are just so incredible and deep and profound and safe in your life.